But I have a question for you, Jamie. You were talking about everything's going to be run by computers and artificial intelligence. Do you think that human beings are going to become mind controlled in the near future?
We already are.
Okay, when we become
technology, about nanotechnology being $1 trillion business. Do you understand?
Yep. Well, anyway,
did
you know that back in when the United States and George Bush went into Iraq, and they were fighting the Iraqis, and around, what was it, 1993 or 1992, and you had all these diehard Muslims hide in their underground bunkers. Remember when they went in the bunkers, and then they would not come out, they would not surrender to infidels. Remember that story? Are you old enough to remember that?
Where they got them, and they used the mind control sound machines to tell them that they had to surrender, and they all got out, and then they doused them with all the chemicals and tortured them, and then they had the road going. I know all of it. What's the point?
Okay, well, anyway, I'm talking about what I want to refer to was I was watching live television. I was watching this on the news, and they were interviewing a general after these Muslims came out of their underground bunkers and surrendered to the infidels, and all the press was interviewing a general at the Pentagon. And the press said to this general, he says, "How did you get these Muslims to come out of their underground bunkers? They would rather die than they would kill themselves before they would surrender to infidels. And these guys just came out, put their hands up, and walked out, like it was a sunny day. And the whole world was at disbelief. They could not understand how this could possibly happen because of what just happened, and so the press was interviewing this general. How did you bring this about? How did you talk them into surrendering? And you know what the general said? The general said, well, all we did is we flew over the sites in our helicopters and we broadcast their thoughts, and put it right in their own thought process that it would be a good idea to come out and surrender to the infidels rather than dying.
No, it was looking at, and actually I did I've done a 3-hour documentary on what you're talking about, okay? It's called Touchless Torture. They use voice-to-skull technology. In that document of the videos I did on touchless torture, target humanity, I show the actual voice-to-skull technology you're referring to, and the Word of God is what they put in there to surrender. And then when they started surrendering, they machine gunned them all down because we don't do body counts, and they murdered them all. Yes, this is the voice technology that they're using on target individuals today.
Okay, well, anyway, but you
not
do...
anyway,
you do
technology that isn't used on Muslims. The Muslims were created by the Jesuits. The whole thing to get us fighting each other. Look at...
Well, you're missing... Jamie, let me make my point.
It's not about the Muslims. It's not about
Jamie,
the Christians.
can I make my point? Jamie, can I make my point?
Sure.
Okay, the point I want to make is you even have programs showing that they have the technology to program people's thoughts, correct?
Voice-to-skull technology is the name of it, yes, sir.
Okay, now, the problem is the powers that be on this planet today are about a year away from mind programming everybody on this planet. And when they're able, my point is when people are no longer able to think for themselves, that all their thoughts are generated by a computer program somewhere or artificial intelligence, the human beings on this planet have lost their free will. And when they lose their free will, when they become automatons, and lose their free will, the all is going to destroy the world and send them back to start life all over as a rock and an atom of existence, and they get to go try again through the new world as God recreates the lower worlds, and they get to start all over again. And right now, the real guides are here trying to wake people up and say, you got to wake up to the reality of life, that you're a real being of light before this happens, or you get to start life all over again. And we're putting millions of these people in what's called the Phantom Zone, awaiting the destruction of the lower worlds where they get to start all over again. That's going on. The real guides are doing that left and right, behind the scenes. You don't even know about it. But
I know about it. Like I said, I did a 3-hour documentary. You're not telling me anything new. It's a slow process.
You know about the PC?
They don't need as many as you think. And there's called the Hive Mind. And the Bee Hive Mind is because our minds are computers. Look up the sex slave women, the presidential sex slave.
I know all about that. And I watched the Borg on Star Trek. I know how the Bee Hive...
Let me speak too?
Okay.
Or do you want to just keep telling me what I already know?
Okay, well, but you know about the Phantom Zone? You said
That's
you know about the Phantom Zone.
What does phantom mean?
Phantom, Phantom. Phantom Zone.
Phantom, what does that mean? It could be a fighter jet. What does it mean to you? What does Phantom
Zone is a place of darkness. Well, in the Bible, there's a parable about a king giving a... All right, and if you read the Bible, maybe you can understand the reference in the Bible. It's called outer darkness.
Bible, you get all cocked up with this the Bible shit. It's not a Bible. There's 2,000.
Well, whatever
Bibles.
you want to call it. All I'm saying is there's a reference in the Bible. I mean, the Bible is mostly BS. I understand that, but there's a reference to this king gave a party and nobody came. And then somebody showed up dressed improperly, and the king said, "Cast him into outer darkness where there will be gnashing of teeth." You remember that?
It doesn't matter. Are you talking about the King James Bible?
It doesn't matter what Bible you're talking about. The point is,
this quote is in the Ethiopian Bible.
People were cast into outer darkness.
Scrolls, is that the same exact quote? I'm sorry, I've read those. I'm not familiar with that phantom term.
Have you ever heard of outer darkness?
Well, what's outer darkness? Darker?
Outer darkness is where the God of the real God of creation puts people, awaiting the destruction of the lower worlds, where He holds them until He recreates the lower worlds again, and they get to start life all over as an atom of existence and go through the eons of reincarnations and work their way back up through life again.
Okay, but what's your point?
My point is that's all being done right now.
Okay, so what? What are you going to do about it? You still have to deal in the physical realm. That's my point. No matter all the abstract you talk about, spiritual this, spiritual that, this is a spiritual war for your soul. Your soul to never allow you to reincarnate again, to bind your soul. So all these reincarnations, if you lie, in reincarnation, if you say my spirit is a living entity and I'm an eternal spirit, if you want to talk Jesus Christ, and I get this with Christians, and they never admit this. First thing Jesus Christ did on His ministry at 30 years old was what, sir? What did Jesus Christ do in His ministry when He started at 30 years old? He threw over the bankers' tables. What did He do again at 3 before that got Him crucified? He threw over the bankers' tables.
Okay, all right. And where did Jesus get His training from? That's my question for you.
Subject.
Do you know the guy who taught Jesus everything he knew and brought to the Middle East?
Why aren't you?
His name is Fubi Quantz.
If you're a Christian,
his name is Fubi Quantz. He's a real guide from the All Is.
You're not listening.
He's the one that taught Jesus what he taught.
Christian, why are you not being like Jesus and throwing over bankers' tables? I'll wait. No Christians are throwing over bankers' tables. And what did Jesus Christ do? Kill my body, I'm resurrecting. I'm a spirit being. The kingdom of God is inside of me. Go throw over bankers' tables. I've had my life threatened a bunch. Go get your life threatened. See how that makes you feel.
Every night my life is threatened. Every night. Every day my life is threatened. Every day.
Okay. Then I respect you because you're out there.
My wife is crippled because of all the attacks on her.
And I'm sorry about that, but we're getting answers for that too. And I respect you for doing that. But when we talk spiritualness, unless we have the physical action behind the spiritual knowing, it doesn't matter what we think about reptilians or phantom this or outer that. We got to deal with the reality of
we're making progress. We're making progress. Where do you get the spiritual knowing? You get it from the real guides. That's what I'm trying to say.
I get it from going within. The kingdom of God is inside.
When you go within, who do you meet with?
Huh?
Yeah, where do you go when you go within?
I go and I process and I bring it back out through love. And love now.
Yeah, but where do you go? Where do you go? What do you process?
I don't go anywhere.
It's the real guides that are providing the guidance for us.
I know that.
If you're not connected to the real guides, it's no telling who you're getting your information from.
Well, we got our angels. When you start on the path, sir, you will find, and you probably already found it since you're already going there, that you're going to have guidance. You're going to have little voices in your head. You're going to have little things show up that are just can't be a possible coincidence. I just had it happen to me the other day again. They are guiding me now as I'm on my path. They told me to go to paradise. The spirits that died and are in limbo came to me in my dreams and said, "Don't let us die. You're the only one keeping this story alive." I know what the source is. I'm in touch with the source. I am co-creator with the source now. I am all powerful.
Can you name me one of the real guides that you're in contact with?
Say again?
Can you tell me the name of at least one of the real guides you meet with on the inner?
Well, one of them is Archangel Michael.
All right, the Archangel Michael is an angel of the Kalam God who's part of the system to destroy the planet Earth.
Well, according to you.
Well,
according to the book of you. That's not my knowledge.
Well, I guess.
My intuition, inspiration, intelligence, wisdom, and creativity is coming from a different source, sir. It's not out of a freaking book. It's not a Bible says thing. It's not a reptilian thing. It's not a phantom thing. It's a real thing. It's a spirit that speaks through me. The people that I've lost in my life, they've come and helped me. They're on my shoulders. They guide me. They speak to me. I know that now because my vibration is higher because I am doing the work that needs to be done. And when each one of us does the work that needs to be done, your spirit guides, whatever name you want to call them. And if you want to say they're destroying planet Earth, well, it's not a planet, and Earth ain't going anywhere, so I don't agree with you in any way, shape, or form. But, it's all been a lie, and it's up to each individual. But we have to find common ground to agree on. And I can respect your opinions about this, that, and the other thing, but when it comes down to how we're going to get through the next day, that comes to, where does your air come from? How do you breathe? Every day, you've got to deal with what gives you life, whether you're spiritual or not. And that's who we have to reach out to. And if you're growing food and you offer food to hungry and you offer food to people that need it, you're going to win people over. If you just tell them, hey, the world's coming to an end, blah, 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 I've tried that, you're losing people. They don't want it. They can't deal with it. They've been programmed so well that there's no way they can hear what you're saying and trying to get through to them. No way. So each person you have to approach individually. And so I walk up to people now and say, how are you? How's your life? What's going on? How can I help? And then I can talk to them. But only when I reach out to each individual and look them in the eye. I can't do it. The Internet's going to be shut down soon. So, wherever you are, whatever you got, then and if it's part of the big picture cycle of one creation of 311 trillion, 40 billion years of 1 month of Vara or Pralaya of creation, and we're going to have to just get destroyed and recreate, that's part of the process. I'm down with that. But I'm going to do my part to make the world a better place. That's my role. End of story. And at the end of my life, I'm going to look at my son and say, I did my best, son. And then I'm going to go to sleep and come back again. I'm very comfortable with that.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
good.
Well, Jamie, I think you're doing a fantastic work. I really do. And we only have a little over 7 or 8 minutes left. I'd like to invite anybody else that's listening to ask Jamie a question or make comments. Anybody like to step in and say anything on topic or any other topic that you'd like to bring up?
Yeah, this is Tim. You mentioned the chemtrails, the are being sprayed all over the place, and even if we are self-sustaining here away from the population, and with this 5G technology, it sounds like that the power is there to turn it up to just practically be aimed at anybody, anywhere, to destroy the physical body. So the question is, how do you prevent the 5G from attacking our children and the robotized mind control stuff that from chemtrails and this 5G powers?
Yeah, I wrote a book called Geoengineering, aka Chemtrails: Investigations into Humanity's Sixth Great Extinction Event. Chemtrails, geoengineering, spraying the skies like bugs, as I was referring to earlier. There's many, many applications of what they're doing to mitigate humanity, to mind control. Smart dust is real nanotechnology. We all breathe in. It gets in through the blood-brain barrier. They have self-replicating computers that read our nervous system. They have synapse brain replacers that go in between the two hemispheres of our brain and can read our thoughts, control our minds. There's biophase 2 of these smart dust that goes in our eyes, and they can see through us. This is why they're legalizing marijuana all across the world at the same exact time, is because when you get high or when you get in meditation or when you get in prayer or when you get spiritual, you operate at a higher frequency, and the over-the-horizon radars that are used to control humanity, like the gentleman was referring to earlier, they're not set at those frequencies. So they need everybody on this Kmart cannabis to get us all at the same frequency for mass mind control for their own agendas. So what you're saying about the spraying going on, yeah, there's no organic food anymore because everything has aluminum, barium, and strontium in it. But we are getting answers as to how we can lift the toxicity out. And maybe we should end on this. At the end of the darkness is the dawning of light. At the dawning of light, nature always balances no matter what. We've had this darkness on our pedestal for 5,000 years. Now we're seeing the light. And one of the healing protocols that I've been turned on to is biomagnetic healing using magnets, using lodestones that ancient Egyptians used. Chinese call it qi. Japanese call it prana. United States, Western world has no word for subtle energy healing. But I've taken two training seminars from a Dr. Luis Garcia, and he showed me how to place magnets on people to lift vaccine toxicities out of people. Sir, the gentleman who was speaking earlier about his wife being attacked, we're using magnets for EMF protection. I had my legs taken away with psychotronic weaponry attacks where I was crippled and paralyzed until somebody placed some magnets and I was able to walk again. And now I'm teaching others how to do this. So I'm hosting a webinar this Monday, 3 sessions, 2 hours a night, giving the basics of training of this so that we can all learn how to self-heal. That's one of the ends of how the beginning of the end of the controllers, as you call them, happens, is when we become self-healers and we heal each other. And I encourage you to really look up biomagnetic healing, because this is, I'm seeing miracles happen, you guys and ladies. This is really incredible stuff that I want to share with everybody. So even though they're spraying us, we're getting answers. Even though they're toxifying our soil, we're getting answers. But, it's up to each one of us to find our own ways to learn where that light is coming from and seek that light that works for you. And if they're going to spray us like bugs, I look at them and I don't allow that to enter me. I decide that it's not. I am more powerful than anything they can create. We have to all know that we're more powerful than anything they can create. So look it, face it, deal with it, and tell it it's not going to live in you. It's just not going to happen. And that's one of the powers we have, is the power of our intention. So.
Well, Jamie, thank you very much for that. And I would like, since Val introduced you, and I guess you guys know each other, I'd like Val to close out the show today and summarize everything we talked about. And Val, please close out the show and summarize everything for us today.
Thanks, Bob. Thanks, Jamie, for everything. This is a stimulating conversation. I knew it could have been. I knew it was probably going to get to this because we do have some differences of it, how we see things, that we're all in the same line. We care about what's going on. That's what we have in common. And I'll just summarize. Well, from my viewpoint, again, it's that, Jamie, you said about going within, and then you said, well, there's no within, there's no without. It's just what is. Let me get back to that. It's about awareness and just what is going on, and it doesn't matter what you believe or what, even your experiences. These are all just for reference material. Basically, our experiences, our beliefs, our ideas, our knowledge, our information. These are references to what already just is. It's the recognition of what already is. It doesn't matter what you believe or anything. It's just what is, and supporting that. That's what we support. And I don't want to speak for you, but I know you're sincere and you're looking to do better. So, for what it was worth, the show was great, and we love having you on. And good luck with your adventure. Thank you, Jamie.
Yeah, thank you, guys. And I just unloaded. I didn't hold anything back, so I hope you took it in the spirit of which it was given to. Just share my personal story. And thank you for allowing me to do that. Appreciate it.
You did fantastic, Jamie. And we disagree on a couple things there, but the key point is waking people up, and that's a great job that you're doing. And keep up the good work. And I'd like to end the show with everybody singing "New You" like 2 or 3 times, and then we will end the show. And since you missed it at the beginning, I just remind people to sing "New You" for 15 minutes in the morning and 15 minutes at night, and call on the Real Guides, and they will show you in your sleep state what is really going on in the planet and the world and the universes, and they give you true guidance. So on the count of 3, everybody, please feel free to step in and join us in singing "New You." So 1, 2, 3. New You. Okay, well, thank you, everybody, for joining the show, and we'll talk to you on the next show. I got a good one I'm planning in 2 or 3 weeks that'll really knock your socks off. So thank you, everybody, for joining and participating.